But we wanted to know what would happen at a mega retailer, such as Walmart or Target. Would a cashier that's used to checking out everything from dish racks to video games know to ID for cough syrup?
Thanks, Joe. We are in full weather alert mode here on the night team tonight. Good evening. I'm Ben Wilcox, and WENY News at 11 starts right now.
I've been here maybe 10 minutes. I've seen at least 20 cars come through. Sometimes they're lined up, and the workers have to go outside to fill them up. They say they bundle up, but they think about frostbite too.
Walking through this room, it's hard to imagine it was once a school gymnasium where President Kennedy campaigned. Hilldale says there's now between 20 and 30,000 articles of donated clothing in here.
And you are, of course, urged not to drive in these conditions, but oftentimes you simply do not have a choice. So we wanted to once again pass along some driving tips.
Well, hi there, John and Renata. Well, let's see, we've got beautiful weather and we've got a weekend coming up here at the beginning of summer. And I've got good news for you. We've got the Big Flats Community Days kicking off this weekend, kicking off tonight here at the Big Flats Community Park.
The second annual AIM Strides for Independence Walk is being held Saturday morning at 11:30 at Denison Park. AIM is a nonprofit organization that helps people with disabilities make choices that are in their best interest.
Well-known family in the area that's been in the car business for years. And another factor firefighters are dealing with is it's bitterly cold right now in the street. Standing water from fighting this fire. It's already turning to ice.
The Alpine Junction in Schuyler County, where there's been a serious accident between a tractor-trailer truck and an SUV. The accident happened around 6:30 this evening.
All right, well, hello again, Renata, and I think this is a first. We are coming to you live atop the Ferris wheel at the Chemung County Fair. And if my photographer Nick could pan around, you can see the rides around, the scrambler, the tilt-a-whirl, the demolition derby field.
You know, there are plenty of medicines out there to help you feel better.
That's right, but some people, including children, don't use them for their intended purpose. I looked into the issue of cough syrup abuse and tested a new law meant to protect children.
Robitussin, NyQuil, Delsum, they're all popular cold medicines found in millions of homes across the country, but they also have a particular ingredient in common. Dextromethorphan, which acts as a temporary cough suppressant while you're fighting a cold, but dextromethorphan, or DXM as it's often referred to, can also be used as a recreational drug, and it's on the rise according to the Center for Substance Abuse Research at UMD. Derek Wandel at Gerald's Pharmacy on Elmira's South Side shared with us some of the effects DXM abuse would have.
You know, they see effects of hallucinations, paranoia, impaired time judgment.
In its normal dosage, DXM is safe to consume, but when it comes to heavy doses of over 100 milligrams, the effects can be very unsafe.
Almost like a euphoric effect. They even say it can be compared, sometimes depending on the dose, to a use of LSD or ecstasy.
While it takes several doses to get to that state, DXM can be purchased over the counter. And in a world where kids abusing prescription medications is on the rise, with 1 in 5 now believed to have abused prescriptions, Wandel says there are signs parents can look for if they worry their kids are abusing cough syrup.
It's irritation, there's always raised blood pressure, vomiting, nausea, a lot of symptoms.
Wandel also pointed out those symptoms are not always signs of DXM abuse. New York State has taken steps to fight children abusing dextromethorphan. On October 1st, 2013, a new law went into effect.
It's now illegal to sell any product with dextromethorphan to anyone that's under the age of 18, unless they have a prescription. If they do, then that's fine. So you want to be IDing everyone that buys that product.
In fact, the law says any retailer must card anyone buying DXM products until they are at least 25 years old, and there are expensive penalties for violations.
And if you are caught and charged with it, it is a $250 fine per offense.
Pharmacies like Gerald's and chains such as CVS or Rite Aid train and test their cashiers on new regulations frequently.
But we wanted to know what would happen at a mega retailer, such as Walmart or Target. Would a cashier that's used to checking out everything from dish racks to video games know to ID for cough syrup?
My name is Tyler. I'm 20 years old.
Tyler is a WENY employee who agreed to help us test the carding law at 2 well-known retailers. Remember, Tyler is allowed by law to buy the medicines, but he is in the age group that is supposed to be carded by store employees, according to New York regulations. We set up our test by visiting a local Walmart and Target. We asked Tyler to purchase a few small items, including cough syrup. First up, Target.
The machine started beeping, and they It basically just had them card me.
Target went above and beyond the law both times. WENY received a statement from Target that reads, quote, "Target places great emphasis on safety and the well-being of our guests, and we fully comply with all regulatory healthcare standards and legal requirements," end quote. Next up was Walmart. The first time Tyler went through, the cashier asked him if he was 18, and Tyler offered his ID. The second time?
It was really easy. I just walked in and they asked me if I was 18, and I just shook my head yes, and I was ready to go. I gave them my money. I left.
Tyler also said there was no alarm sounded when he purchased the cough syrup. Over at Gerald's, Wandel says there is no need for panic. All of these medications are safe when used as instructed.
At the regular doses of 1 to 2 teaspoons every 4 to 6 hours, it's a great cough suppressant.
We did reach out to Walmart by placing calls to their corporate offices starting last week. So far, we haven't gotten a call back. If we do, we'll be sure to pass their information along to you.
Nancy Zito and her family are still cleaning out her Ferndale Drive home that was flooded with 6 inches of feces, toilet paper, and sewage on Monday. The home did not have a mandatory backflow preventer, and therefore the county and insurance company are saying they will not pay to clean up the damage.
When I talked to the deputy county exec, he said that it was put in the newspaper. What if people don't get the newspaper?
The damage pile in front of Nancy's house has gotten a lot bigger in the past 24 hours. And Nancy, well, she's sleeping here in this carport overnight.
I buried my uncle on Saturday. I retired on Sunday, and I lost my home on Monday. And that's it. And no one will help me, and I have nothing.
While Nancy is still hopeful someone might be able to help her, we spoke with Jeff Struble of Struble Plumbing about how to tell if you might need a backflow preventer.
If you're standing in your basement and you realize that the ground level is your eyesight pretty much level with your eyes, and you see a pipe sticking out of your wall and it's below, well, I mean, then that would say to you right off the bat, you want to get a backflow preventer in there.
Struble says a backflow preventer can cost anywhere from $500 to $1,500 to install, depending on the home and the style of preventer needed.
But when you donate, do you know where your contributions are going? Tonight I take you to a charity in Tioga County, keeping it all local.
It's a rainy day in Owego, but for the dozens of families like this one stopping by the Beds for Kids and Clothes for Kids Center, it's a beautiful day.
Sure, my name is Mary Titus, and I have 3 children. I have my daughter Olivia, I have my son Jason, he's 5, and my older son Nick.
The family is new to town and needed a new bed for Olivia, who's outgrown her crib. That's where Beds for Kids comes in. It's a no-questions-asked charity that supplies free beds for any family who needs one.
People with low income, it's kind of a help and a savior.
Both Beds for Kids and Clothes for Kids are the brainchild of Leonard Hilldale, who founded the mattress charity 7 years ago and runs both of them out of this old elementary school gymnasium.
How many beds would you estimate you give away?
About 150 beds a week, somewhere in that neighborhood. 1 to 1.5 53-foot tractor trailers a week.
Hilldale says the beds come from retailers who haul away old mattresses when they deliver a new one. He says the mattresses are inspected 3 times before hitting the Beds for Kids floor. And while it started with bedding for Hilldale, it has since spread into a clothing charity, Clothes for Kids.
We really don't recognize borders. I don't care where somebody comes from. If they come in here and they say they need clothes for their kids, they can have them.
Walking through this room, it's hard to imagine it was once a school gymnasium where President Kennedy campaigned. Hilldale says there's now between 20 and 30,000 articles of donated clothing in here.
Actually, when you help a child, you're showing them that they live in a community that's loving and caring, and also you're raising their standard of how they think they're supposed to live.
Community is very important to Leonard. That's why 100% of donated children's clothing goes to needy kids in our area. That's one thing that makes his organization different.
Found that 90% of clothing collected in the United States is sent overseas for profit by charities and by for-profit corporations.
And Hilldale says that takes clothes away from local kids, but hurts other countries too.
What happens is when you send millions and millions of tons of clothing to third world nations, you destroy their textile industries.
Hilldale serves families in the Elmira area and right now has collection centers in both Elmira and Horseheads, and he's looking to place over a dozen more collection centers.
They're very attractive. They're built by the Amish. They're board and batten. We're very responsible about cleaning up, emptying them.
Hilldale says one day he wants to expand his concept nationally. But for now, though, he can take solace in knowing he helped a little girl and thousands like her find a new bed and new apparel.
It'll be great, and we're very thankful.
If you are interested in your business hosting a collection center, you can email me directly at bwilcox@weny.com, and I'll be happy to put you in touch with Leonard.